How's everyone doing today? Today we're going to take a look at a 68K Mac, actually one of the last 68K Macs to be made. We're looking at a LC575. This is a pretty cool little machine. 14-inch color display, 4x CD-ROM floppy drive. Normally it would have about a 230 meg hard drive in it, but at the moment there's no hard drive in it. It was yanked out. I'm still trying to procure the rest of the parts for it. It's got stereo speakers on the front with brightness and volume controls, plus a headphone jack right in the front, and a microphone. So, runs on a Motorola 68LC040, running at 33 megahertz. Pretty quick little processor. Actually, one of the fastest. No math code processor in this one. You can yank the LC040 and put a regular 040 on if you want. Pretty simple. I don't know how much memory is in the machine. I know it's been upgraded. They came with, I believe, 8 megs on board from the factory. They can take up to, I think, 40, some weird number. But I know this machine works. I have powered it on already. Since there's no hard drive, I couldn't boot it. So I figured, well, before I really start getting too crazy with it, I just want to make sure the machine even will boot. So I made a MacOS 8.1 CD-ROM for it, and we're going to try to see if we can get it to at least boot off the CD-ROM into the Finder. If we can get it into the Finder, I can find out more about it and, you know, make sure it's even going to be worth farting around with, which it sure probably is. I'm sure the floppy drive's probably borked. It's going to need to be ripped out and fixed and cleaned up, I'm sure. The CD-ROM is questionable. I have other CD-ROMs here if we need to pull it out and swap it out. Not really a big deal. If it's borked, we can work with that. The floppy drive, I actually do have a couple laying around here now that I think about it. That we could always swap out, but I don't have any floppy disk at the moment to worry about. So I hooked up my ADB keyboard, extended keyboard 2, probably the best keyboard Apple ever sold. Kind of hard to see in the background here. It's kind of a it's a very interesting looking affair, to say the least. There's nothing like having a keyboard that's all yellow and disgusting looking with bright keycaps on it. Needless to say, we're not going to miss this thing in the dark. But this is actually one of the best keyboards Apple ever sold. These things are awesome. This is the extended keyboard 2. It came out in 1990 with the Macintosh 2. It's got this slider on the back here that when the feet aren't, when the foot itself isn't stuck, you can slide that, and this whole bar here will come in and out. It's got ABD ports on both sides. I have a mouse plugged in that side. And the next question is going to be, well, why do you absolutely have to have a keyboard? Well, this machine you cannot power on without a keyboard. So the only way you can turn this machine on and off is with the soft power button on the keyboard. There's no other alternative way. So let's maybe not. Maybe we should try plugging in a power cord that actually works into the machine. Forgive the way my office looks. It's a disaster. The weather has been uncooperative lately. So there we go. Now we got power. I heard the monitor. Power on. There's a power switch on the back, but it just turns like the master power on and off. So let's see what happens. Absolutely nothing. Well, this isn't a good sign. I know this machine does work because I have booted it. Question is my ADB cable any good? This might end up being an epic fail. I think this is going to be an epic fail today. So we're going to let it sit and charge for a little bit. Sometimes if you just let them sit while they're plugged in, they'll charge up and come on. So we'll see what happens. We'll wait a little bit and we'll be back. Okay, now we figured out what was going on. Somebody didn't have the right power plug plugged into it. So we got the AOS 8.1 CD. I powered it up already, but I put the CD-ROM in. Now we're going to power it up. Press and hold C while we're doing so. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if it boots. In theory, it should. Yay! This will probably take a while. We're going to fast forward this part. All right, here we go. Finder's loading. Of course, you know, I have no idea when this machine was even powered up last. It has a battery on it, but it's definitely dead. So, as you see, we have, you can install OS 8.1. This is the last version of OS, classic Mac OS that can run on this machine. So, 8.1 actually runs pretty decent on these. And 8.1 gives you a lot of features, you know, over 7.6 or even 7.1. 7.1 would be lightning fast, but, you know, if you want to get online or do anything like that, you'd kind of be out of luck there. So, but here's the Finder. Let's pull up about this Mac, or about this computer. It says about this computer because this is the time when clones were around. So you see we have 20 megs of memory, running OS 8.1. And of course they just have the generic macOS computer now, because this is, you know, clones came out during the System 7.5, 7.6 era, so they couldn't say about this Mac because it wasn't necessarily a Mac. So it's running. I have the hard drive picked out for it. It's a 2 gigabyte hard drive. It's the smallest one I have. All I need is the edge connector to install it. I already have a sled, so we're getting closer and closer. But for being sitting outside on a skid to be recycled in the rain, you can see it works just fine, and boots up nice. So this is going to be an ongoing project. As soon as I get an edge connector for the CD-ROM, or if by some odd chance I get an external CD-ROM and I can take the edge connector off the CD-ROM drive, then, you know, we can go. But yeah, this is definitely one I want to get running. I'd like to restore it back to its former glory. This will be the fastest 68K machine I'll have. It'll be the only 68K machine I'll have. So clean her up, get the stickers off, and go from there. So, and the next project we're going to have is, I think we're going to work on an eMac too. This is a 1.25 gigahertz eMac, one of the fastest ones I've come across. Does work. It's got some quirks. It's going to need a little TLC, but we'll get her going. So, until next time.